Here we are then. I'll tell you what, I need to get an intro because just going straight into me talking from that screen doesn't quite work. Yeah, I don't really know what's going to happen on this stream. We'll see how many we get in as to whether we get much live chat or whatever, but I've got a plan. I think I'm just going to take it through like a video so it has some rewatch value as well as like live watching value. Just my camera down a little bit for a second. There you are. Been a pretty mental day today to be a Bristol City fan, I must say. I'm going to just tweet a second to say that we're live. We've got Liam and FPL Tom in here. There's two things I immediately want to do for you guys. Let's get you in. Let's get you in as moderators. 2 seconds, guys. Okay. I feel a little bit nervous for this one. I know it's I do YouTube live streams pretty much every week, but doing one on a little bit of a different channel to a potentially different audience is yeah, a little bit different, isn't it? I'll say I'm live now. Hashtag Bristol City. There we go. Yeah, mental day. Well, mental couple of days, actually, as a Bristol City fan. Obviously, yesterday would have been Tuesday, I think the news mainly broke, wasn't it? That Liam Manning looks like he's certainly off to Norwich. And then today, well, yesterday and today, we've had mental stuff going on social media. So what I've got, I'm actually going to use Twitter to drive this stream because, well, what other better source of Bristol City news is there other than Twitter? The first thing I wanted to look at was, well, who's going to be the next Bristol City manager? It certainly looks like Manning's off. I think the news is not broken officially yet. It's not been confirmed by either club, but I think, it's pretty damn obvious he's gone. And who can like blame him, right? I don't think I went into full detail about this on the original video I made, but, he's got, well, Norwich, they're under new ownership. They'll have some money from the sales of Borja Signs and Josh Sargent. And I think they are, if you're a neutral, right, you don't have any affiliation to either club, like historically, which Liam Manning does or doesn't, you definitely argue Norwich are a bigger club than Bristol City, right? I don't think it's too outrageous to suggest that. So you can completely see why he would want to do it. But yeah, I'm actually not too upset about it either. On the video that I made, I said I was a bit disappointed, etc. But the news was a little bit fresh for me back then. Honestly, as time has gone on, I'm less and less concerned about it. And in fact, I'm actually quite excited at the prospect of getting 3 potential new managers in. I'll click on their pictures, shall we? Actually, no, that probably doesn't quite work. I think my 3 picks would be, well, there's 2 I think that sit a little bit above. So I'd say Gary O'Neill and Liam Rossini are 2 managers that I think would be like dream picks for me. I don't think we'd be able to quite tempt Gary O'Neill. And I think Liam Rossini would be hard to get because he's first division in France now, isn't he? I think that's probably a little bit of a, bit of a step down, I would say, if you're a neutral to come to Bristol City, maybe. Hopefully that's not a controversial thing to say. So for me, I think you got 3 choices. Well, my personal picks would be Rob Edwards, Ruben Sellers, and John Mousinho, who's currently at Portsmouth. Obviously, Ruben Sellers and Rob Edwards are currently free agents at the moment, so you wouldn't have to pay compensation, wouldn't really have to worry about that. And I'm personally leaning towards Rob Edwards as my pick. The more I think about it, the more I think he'd be really well suited to us. He's proven that he can get a tune out of teams that play like 2 different systems. Forest Green Rovers and Luton played in 2 different ways. And I just look back at Luton. I remember when they had Nathan Jones as their manager. It was the first season I actually had a season ticket at Ashton Gate, and they came. And the Luton team under Nathan Jones was quite possibly, still probably the worst team that I've ever seen play at Ashton Gate. And Rob Edwards took that team over, and the season after that got them promoted to the Premier League. I think he worked a miracle to do that. And if I remember rightly as well, the season when Luton were in the Premier League, they were the strongest team strongest team, that's not correct. They were the strongest promoted team, sorry. I know they still got relegated, but I think of the 3 that went up, they actually put up a bit of a fight compared to the other ones. And yeah, obviously, last season did not go well. But I know it's a negative that he got relegated they got relegated and he got the sack. But I said this on the one stream in Bristol Spaces they ran, but I think you can paint it up however you want, really. I think if you go back to your, just think of your life in general and the times where you've maybe learned the most or developed the most as an individual, it's times when things don't go your way. And I think Rob Edwards will look back on last season with Luton, getting sacked, getting relegated, etc. I think he'll learn a lot from that time. And you'd like to think, right, I don't think it's going to be plain sailing for whoever comes into Bristol City. The cycle of managing Bristol City, I think, with the quality of squad that we're an up and down team, right? You're going to have to ride waves of 3 or 4 games where we look really good, 3 or 4 games where we look pretty crap, and ride the waves. And I think a manager that's really been through, the absolute mud, which he was last season with Luton, I think that will serve him well for those times. So yeah, my personal pick would be Rob Edwards, closely followed, I think, by Ruben Sellers. When you saw that he got sacked by Hull, the replies to the tweet about him being sacked by Hull fans was all you needed to see, really. They were all really upset about the sacking. And he himself has gone through some hardships as a manager, being manager of Reading for as long as he was. And that was probably one of the worst teams in Britain to be a manager of, with the ownership situation that was going on there. And he, sort of kept that club afloat as their manager. I've got to say, I don't know a whole lot about John Mousinho, but he's obviously gotten Portsmouth promoted. And he's a young, similar ilk in age, I suppose, as Liam Manning. But I don't know a whole lot about John Mousinho. So maybe people in the chat could chime in with their thoughts on him. But for me, I think Rob Edwards and Ruben Sellers would be my 2. And I probably have Rob Edwards as my favourite pick. And if I'm not mistaken, again, someone can correct me in the comments, he comes from the Southwest, does he not? Just looking at the chat, we got FPL Tom and Liam in here. Chris, good to see you, mate. And Charlie, I think I've just gone through your question. It's good to see you. I'm intrigued to see you start your YouTube channel, mate. Yeah, I don't think... It's quite nice, isn't it? It's very rare, I think, that you lose a manager and people are not all that upset about it. But I've got to say, initially I was, but yeah, I'm not all that upset about him being sacked now. I think with the replacements available, we got good time to bring them in. I think we'll be all right. With the strength of managers available, I don't think we need to pay compensation. No, I mean, I think the 2 picks for me are Rob Edwards and Ruben Sellers, who I don't think we'd have to... Well, we wouldn't have to pay any money for. They're free agents. Yeah, it's very true, Andy Baker. Very true on the ambition thing. And I think that's ultimately, apart from maybe some personal reasons with family being nearby, etc., that would be one of the reasons that Liam Manning would have chosen Norwich, right? Because they're a club that, you think about it, on the face of it, if they get that money in for Borja Sainz and Josh Sargent, they've got new ownership. He would obviously pick them because he thinks next season they're more likely to get promoted than Bristol City, which is, yeah, I guess unfortunate for us. I've got a few more tweets that I've bookmarked. We'll just have a quick look to see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. Yeah, the one thing just on the new manager front as well. This is an opinion I have. I don't know if many other people share it, but they haven't officially announced the departure of their manager, but they've announced that their manager is talking to Schalke, and it certainly looks like the deal's done. But Plymouth have already announced that that's happening. And I don't know about you guys. I am a little bit... I think almost time is of the essence with getting this Liam Manning deal done so we can just get on with recruiting the next manager. I don't know how you feel about that, but in my mind I was thinking, I think the stuff is kind of held up on negotiations over fee. I think the compensation package for Liam Manning is like 800k defined and settled, but I believe they're negotiating for like Chris Hogg, the assistant, and the backroom staff. And in my mind, I was thinking today, if I was on the board of Bristol City, would like negotiating a few extra hundreds of K for the backroom staff versus getting the deal done as quickly as possible. So, well, for the reasons I've listed here, the manager, whoever comes in, they're going to need time to get settled, right? The transfer window opens, I think it's on the 1st of June, which is, this weekend pretty much, isn't it? It's very close. So, you want them to get in, put some ideas across about maybe, Brian Tinian's probably got a list of signings that he might want to make, despite there not being much budget. You want the new gaffer to have a new full pre-season. And also, we're going to have other clubs that are looking for new managers as well. So I just don't want us to like cock about, to be completely honest with you. And for me, I don't know about how you feel. With the managers available, I just think there are two clear outstanding candidates in Rob Edwards and Ruben Sellers. I think those are the 2 that you would shortlist and want to interview. So I completely agree with you, Chris. I hope we don't drag our feet and just get on with it, because I think we get put at a competitive disadvantage the longer we drag this out. And like I said, in my mind, I'm weighing up, do you want to spend, or do you want to lose out on a few 100K for like the departure of the backroom staff, or do you want to sack that money off and just get someone in? I'd be inclined to think the latter, to be honest. Yeah, to be honest, Liam, I think that's probably one of the things that has maybe extended this process of negotiation. I mean, we don't know for sure exactly what's holding it up. It looks like, reported by the press, that, well, by journalists, that it's the compensation package for like the assistants. I believe I might be mistaken there, but I can't imagine this was an easy decision for Liam. Can't imagine this was an easy decision for him. And this is one thing I wanted to say about Bristol City fans as well. I tweeted it yesterday, but I genuinely think the thing that would keep Liam Manning at the club is the rapport he built with the fan base and the fans and how they treated him. I can't, versus Norwich, our board of directors and the people he's working with, and probably the squad and budget, etc., likely don't compete. It's the fan base and the the relationship that we've managed to build with him. So I think Bristol City fans can credit ourselves for that, to be honest. We certainly did our part. So that's the new manager chat. Let me know in the comments, or let me know in the live chat if you've got any other managerial suggestions. I'm going to put my 3 in a poll, if that's all right. Who would be your pick for Bristol City manager? I just hope they get on with it. I really do. I just want to get on with it. Okay, Rob Edwards. I'll see what the chat thinks. Ruben Sellers and John Musinho. There you go. Have a vote if you fancy it. Chris, I'm sure this is going to happen. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I guess it depends for the reasons the deal's fallen through. I don't think it will fall through because of Liam at this point. I don't know. Be interesting, wouldn't it? Be interesting. Interesting. And also, I was just thinking aloud. Well, I was thinking in my head then, the way like the press in reporting works, everything gets leaked. Nothing is really private in the game of football anymore. I mean, I think he was top of the betting odds going into the playoffs as well to be the next like Norwich manager. So nothing's really a secret in football. So as soon as you start negotiating with another club, someone's going to find it out. So yeah, I mean, he's kind of down the hill now, isn't he? He's got to do it. We got to talk about it then. We got to talk about it. And this is the first time I've ever gone live on this channel, right? This will be the second video that's ever been uploaded. So I don't want to spend, I don't want to spend my second video being too toxic or negative about my football club. But we had some absolute ringers on social media over the last couple of days, didn't we? So we had a Brian Tinian reposting on Twitter Roy the Alien, who, if you don't know, probably do if you're watching this stream, but is a notorious Bristol City related transfer rumour account. Mixed record of getting things right or wrong. It's just part of the community, isn't it, having Roy? We all know who Roy is, and it's quite funny. But the tweet says, Brian Tinian wants a second crack at being Bristol City head coach. Told he's currently seeing all over Anyway, you can read that for yourself. And it was actually retweeted by Brian Tinian himself. Well, it certainly appeared to be that way. And he ended up retweeting it, blocking Roy the Alien, which meant that he was stuck on his profile, was retweeted for hours, I think. And because he had Roy the Alien blocked, he couldn't unretweet it. So I thought that was something. You can share your opinions in the chat on what you think of that. And then I called him Wooks the Goat. He's quite a funny account. I like following Wooks. I put him in the thumbnail actually, but Wooks. But I guess it's an assumption, but that Tinian's son's running his Twitter while he's completely oblivious to the carnage being caused. And then Brian Tinian retweeted that on his account as well. So Wooks got a retweet from Brian Tinian, and then Jay, who I believe is Brian Tinian's son. So obviously that tweet from Wood, and then he got a reply. He got a reply from Jay. So yeah, I mean, what a farce. FPL Tom, yeah, I texted you about this today, so I was a little bit worried about talking about this on stream. But yeah, I think his role is technical director, which is probably a differently worded way of saying director of football. But he's been retweeting that today, and his son's been involved. So, yeah, just another normal day of being a Bristol City fan, I suppose. There's a couple counter opinions to that. Obviously, I've not gone in on Brian Tinney. I mean, you can draw your own conclusions from that. And there's a counter side who's saying it's a bit of a shame that he's getting the mickey taken out of him, etc. So I guess there's a couple of differing opinions around the whole Brian Tinney thing. But what can you say, eh? I understand. I don't think I have it on my... There we go. So yeah, Dan Carter, who is... Oh, we're on Mark Sykes Enjoyer. Dan Carter, who says... Well, he's a Bristol City reporter at Bristol Live, the new guy that came in this season. So he's spoken to the club who are handling the situation internally. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to go too in on Brian Tinian, but, you know, they've spoken to the club internally. I guess we'll see what comes of that. And then he's saying on the Liam Manning news as well, expecting the club to comment once things are confirmed. So waiting for a deal to be done. I'm just going to have a quick look at Bristol City Live to see if there's any latest. So the last tweet was 7 hours ago. It's just that we've got an official approach, basically. It's full of ads, isn't it? All these bloody news websites. And I mean, it's obvious they're going to bring Chris Hogg with them. Well, the deal's expected to become, no exact timeline can be provided. 800k for Manning's signature. Nothing's confirmed on social media. There we go. Robins intend to update supporters when possible, but the logistics of such deal means actions at Carrow Road will impact when and how such announcements will be made. So, anyone in the market for some shoes? There's some shoes. Oh, there's some dodgy adverts there. We'll skip over that. So yeah, that's the latest sort of news there, really. Just think if there's anything else I wanted to cover. Yeah, what a day to be a Bristol City fan, eh? What a day. I got razzed as well. So on my first video, you won't be able to hear the sound from this, but on my first video, I took a tweet from Sammy. This is a funny account on Twitter. Didn't quite realise what I was getting into, but I got myself in the depths of a Norwich City parody account. And I was looking at where Norwich might get their money from. But you can't see that. But essentially, he had some pot shots at players who players who got released, etc. Anyway, I got absolutely razzed because he put some false information on this tweet and I fell for it. I thought that was quite funny. I'll put that tweet back up. Let's have a little bit of chat about our new manager then. Yeah, that's interesting, FPL Tom. I think for me, mate, it's the two. I think Rob Edwards, Ruben Sellers, I'd be happy with either of them, to be completely honest with you. Annie Baker, if the board knew about Norwich interest a while back, let's hope they... Yeah, exactly. Let's hope they just... I just want to get a new manager in at this point, to be honest. No, exactly, Chris. It's a bit mental, isn't it? But I think we still don't know if it was actually him or his son, like, taking control of his Twitter account. But... you know, regardless, the optics and the way that makes the club look are not great. I mean, that's you got Steve, you've got John, and then probably flat under John in terms of structure, isn't it? I would imagine if you think of an organisation, Brian Tinian's line manager is John Lansdowne. So he's technically the third most senior person at the football club, and that's happening. So say at work, I don't know, got a CEO, COO, and then like a managing director. That's that level of person tweeting that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not very professional, is it? I completely agree with you, Henry. That's exactly what I was saying. He's got a proven track record of a couple of clubs who play different ways, having success at both, and exactly what you say on Luton. You know, he will inherit this Bristol City squad, whatever it looks like. He's not going to be able to rebuild it. You know, might get one or two players in, I'd guess, this summer. You know, budgets are going to be really limited. So, yeah, that track record and what he's done at Luton, I think, will serve him well. And I said this at the beginning of the stream as well, but I do think you can paint his poor season at Luton last year in two ways. You know, one of them is it was rubbish. You know, he did a crap job and got sacked, etc. Or you could think of it, well, this is a man who's been through a really tough time with the football club. He's probably learned a lot from it. He's not a stupid bloke, right? He would have learned a lot from it. If we went through a similar period at Bristol City, you know, we always, as Bristol City, right, we go through ups and downs throughout a season, right? We have 2 or 3 wins on a bounce, and then we go down a little bit of a hole. It happened with Liam Manning, right, over the winter. I can't remember exactly what months it was in, but we were having a poor run of results and people were calling for him to be sacked. And I'm almost sure that that will happen with the new manager that comes in. It happened with Nigel Pearson, I think, when he came in. It happened with Liam Manning when he came in. You'll have a bit of up and down with us this season. And a manager who has experienced, real loads with the football club, I think will have the mentality, the resilience, etc., to deal with that. So yeah, that'd be my view. Steven Gerrard's Bristol City. I've got to say, I don't massively rate Steven Gerrard. I don't massively rate him. I don't know if that's a joke or you actually believe it, and fair play, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm not massively sure on Steven Gerrard myself. Norwich think they're taking Jason Knight. I'd be very surprised if we lost Jason Knight to anything other than a relegated team, to be honest. I think the likes of Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich, or a Premier League team would be the only logical places Jason Knight would go at this point. I mean, if you were Jason Knight, I don't think there's enough in it for you to go to Norwich just yet. Unless they offer you loads of money, I suppose. I just don't think they take him. And that was something that was said on the one stream in Bristol spaces I went on. I got on that yesterday, Tuesday. I lose track of what days they are. I went on Tuesday, didn't I? There aren't really many players you'd think that Liam Manning would actually want to poach from our squad. I don't know, I just don't think they fit Norwich at all. Jason Knight's the only one. I just think he'd go to, a relegated team who can pay him pretty good wages, and have obviously a really strong chance of going up straight away, or a current Premier League team. I know Everton was sniffing around him at the end of the season, and I think what else was going on? And they're looking at Hamer now as well from Sheffield United. So I think Everton are in the market for a midfielder, and Jason Knight I think was on that list. Danny Roll, is he the Sheffield Wednesday gaffer? Let's have a quick look. I'll do that off screen. Danny Roll. I'll stay live for another 10 minutes or so for a bit more chat, and then we'll hop off. I'll try and keep it to half an hour or so. I've got to go to Asda Bedminster to do a bit of shopping in a sec. Big old, that's a prime BS3 Bristol location there. Yeah, fair enough on Danny Roll. Liam Rossini, yeah, we said that at the start. I have a couple of picks that I just think are unrealistic, and that for me would be Gary O'Neill and Liam Rossini. And I just don't think we'd be able to tempt them. I don't think we'd be able to tempt them to us. I think Gary O'Neill would hold out for. Maybe he could. Maybe we're just on. Yeah, maybe we're just able to get him. But I think Liam Rossini, being where he is with the club he's at, I just think he'd be too hard to tempt him. I think he would only accept a Premier League job, in my mind, if he would come back to England. Gary O'Neill, maybe. But I think the fact that he got sacked by Wolves in the relegation zone might mean that not many Premier League clubs will actually be after him. A couple of people really rating Danny Roll in the chat. I've got to say, I don't know a whole lot about Danny Roll. So yeah. I think that's everything I really wanted to go through. I don't think we're missing too much. Have we got the got the Twitter drama with Brian Tinian. The club are discussing that internally today, apparently. I think my pick's got to be Rob Edwards. And yeah, there you go. That was from Roy. So Brian Tinian reposted it, blocked him. Interesting. And then my worry is it still hasn't been announced yet, and I just want us to crack on. I'm worried that they're going to need time to get settled, whoever comes in. You want them to have as much time with the squad as possible to instill their tactics and game plans, etc. during the pre-season. You want them on board to get the transfers in, and other clubs are going to be competing for these managers as well, right? I think we've probably got a better pool than Plymouth, but Plymouth, you think, what's the Plymouth manager shortlist going to be? It's going to be very similar to us. Ruben Sellers is going to be on their list. Rob Edwards is going to be on their list. So we're going to be competing with Plymouth for these managers. So yeah, something to bear in mind. All right, I think that's it. I've been live for 25 minutes. So if you're watching that back, that's probably plenty. I hope you enjoyed that and found it useful. Thank you, everyone who took part in the chat. First stream on this Robin's Nest channel, and someone was asking actually about what do you think the players are thinking right now. I think they're all on holiday, so I wouldn't really be worried too much. And I'll be honest, if they got a new manager in Liam, I reckon there'd be a special request to bring the players in a little bit sooner just to meet him. That would be my view, and I think the players, if they're professional enough, would be open to that as well, because they're not just going to be They're not just going to be, well, you'd hope they're not just going to be completely mucking about during this summer. They'll be keeping themselves fit and keen to go again next year. So that'll be my view. So yeah, first stream on the channel. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like rating. If you're watching this back, let me know in the comments your thoughts on who your favourite Liam Manning replacement would be. What am I going to do? I had an idea for a video to make as well. I was going to go through the entire Bristol City squad. I was going to look at players that I would keep, look at players I was going to sell, and then players I would look to loan out, and then some transfer targets as well. So if you'd be interested in that, unless we get a new manager come in, I'll react to that, or react to the official news of Liam Manning being sacked, or sacked, not correct, Liam Manning leaving or whatever. But yeah, I'll make that video next. That's my next plan. All right, I don't have an outro like I do on my other channel, so I'm just going to flip to the screen, the other screen, and end the stream. Cheers, everyone.